problem we've got with the platy is he is very inactive because there's nobody else to swim with. And as I said, the cory cats tend to keep themselves to themselves. Now, obviously they do have some level of, oh, there's other fish in the tank. So that seems to be sufficient to keep a cory cat happy, is there are some other fish around. Not that I particularly care about them, but hey, they're around, so I'm not on my own. They seem to get very upset being on their own, but they don't seem to be very sociable. Whereas things like platies and mollies tend to school together. And okay, we collected that. So we're done with the contracts. Yay. 329. I think that's less than I thought it was going to be, but well, whatever. We can roll this back to the farm now. So yeah, the platy seems to be very out of sorts. He's not depressed would be an appropriate term. He spends all his time sitting at the bottom. Occasionally he'll get up, he'll swim around a little bit, but not really interested. It may be still suffering the effects of the bad water. Or it may be that, he's lonely. But I can't get him any friends until the ammonia issue's sorted. But I guess I'm going to be testing ammonia for the next, every day for the next while. Until we get to the point where, the ammonia's all gone, I can add fish now. But I went to the store and they tested the water and they said, you're the second person today that's come in with bad water, highly acidic water. Now they said they didn't check with where the previous person was living, what water they were using, but it's entirely possible that, I think chlorine makes water more acidic, so it's entirely possible that our local authority dumped more chlorine than they should have in the water, thus, or more, should I say, more chlorine than they normally do into the water, and completely shifted it acidic. So now that we know that, future water changes, the first thing I'm going to do is test the water in the pipe before I I take water out of the tank, so that we know that the water we're putting in is our normal 7.8 alkaline water, and that we need to add some acidic base to bring it down closer to 7. But that was a bit sad. We had one of our mollies died last week, so we had 4 mollies plus 3 babies that were about a month and a half old, maybe 2 months old. They're all gone. We had we bought 3 adult platies, 2 of them went, and there were probably half a dozen platy babies. They all died. They were about 2 weeks after the first set, and then 2 to 3 weeks younger than the starting mollies. And then we also had possibly a dozen tiny mollies. I mean, you're talking 1/10 of an inch. And don't know how many we had. We had at least 8, and don't know how many I fished out, because unfortunately difficult to tell because you can't see them easily. I think I fished out about 5, but there were probably others dead that I just didn't find, because spotting a fish that's 1/10 of an inch long is not an easy thing. So there may still be dead fish at the bottom of the tank. And as I said, our oldest cory cat, but we'd kind of been expecting him to die sometime this year anyway, and a major stress event ain't going to help. Now, repopulating the tank, obviously, since we've got 1 platy and no mollies left, probably going to get a number of platies to keep our one happy. Problem is I don't know whether the one that's alive is male or female, and you kind of want more females than males, so I might need to buy somewhere in the region of 5 of them and make sure 4 are female and then 1 is male. So we've got at least 1 male with maybe 5 females, or we could have 2 males. And we've still got a good ratio of male to female. Okay, I need to get in this and go to the store and get our stuff. Tighten that. And we need that. Turn the flashing beacons off on the valve. Did I turn them on? Yes, not. Okay. So yeah, that'll get the platy population going. And I didn't want too many, but we're probably going to end up with about half a dozen platies, adults. And we already know they breed like crazy, so it won't take long to get dozens of them. And then I'll probably go back to just buying 3 or 4 mollies, 1 male and 3 females, and because that's a good size sort of school. The cory cats seem to be okay for now, so that's kind of a good thing. At least they've now survived past the event a full 24 hours. I checked them all this morning, and sort of they were all lying on the bottom of the tank. But as soon as food started coming in, it was sort of yeah. And if you look closely at them, you could see at least 3 of them were breathing. Turned out the 4th one was as well, but they're not stressed for oxygen. I think the oxygen flow in the tank is good, but we are going to have to watch the pH. And I've got no idea, but I did ask the guy at the store if lots of dead fish in the tank could be adverse ammonia condition, or create an adverse ammonia condition, and he did say that, but that was a possibility. So now that we've fished out most of the all of the big dead fish and as many of the babies as I could find. Now that said, I did see a baby platy swimming around. He looked in a bad state as well. He wasn't swimming straight at all. Swim on his side and swim upside down, and just not good. Unfortunately, I haven't seen him since then. And then I did see a tiny, tiny, tiny baby fish swimming around, which could be one of the mollies, although it is darker. And the platies we have are tuxedo platies. They're black with sort of red fins, head, belly, back, and the amount of red varies. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to turn around that way, and I probably left it too late. I left it too late. So it's difficult to see the super tiny one. So I don't know if there's more than one or just that one, and I keep seeing him multiple times. And obviously, you have to wait till he shows his head. So I'm not, it's not something I can say, yeah, he's still alive even now. How am I going to do this? Oh, let's pick that up. That would work. Let's put it down. Back off. Yay. So yeah, there might be a couple of babies still alive, but they are very elusive. They hide a lot. And we have a lot of hiding spaces, which is why we ended up with so many babies from our initial batch of fish, because there are so many places for the baby fishes to hide that they actually have a chance of surviving, which is more than could be said. Yeah, if you have a fairly sparse tank, then babies are food for other fishes. Okay, we'll take this pipe with us. Pipes do not travel well, that much I have figured. So put a strap. Okay, that's not exactly a great place for the IPC to be, but we'll put those straps on, we'll strap that down. So that's the pipe strap down, we're connected to that. I'm going to buy a pipe for the store. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Out there. Fertilizer hose, main colour, buy, yes, okay, back, back, back. So we now have fertilizer hoses here at the store. And they're fertilizer hoses, not slurry hoses. We do not need slurry hoses at the store. When we get into moving the slurry, we'll obviously need a slurry hose for the BGA. Might need to have a slurry hose back in the farm. We don't have anywhere to store slurry at the farm though. But if I get a tanker that I can ship slurry with, then obviously we will need a hose with the tanker or the spreader. For field transfers. Anyway, let's get this back to the yard. Oh, I put the Valtra away, so I'm going to have to get that out so we can empty the tank. I don't think I want to zoom out and see what that... Yeah, well, I think the pipe is strapped to the trailer, even if it is completely crazy. What else is happening? I think I covered the kids before I turned my mic on. So the kids, we are now healthy enough to have the kids back in the house. The former foster kids that we had. So the 4-year-old has been visiting his usual Monday, Wednesday, Friday this week. We're taking this weekend off because we already had loads of stuff to do, like mowing and getting tyres and what have you. And Mrs. Osa still needs to rest. And so next weekend we will have the 4-year-old and his 8-year-old sister from Friday night through Sunday afternoon, per usual. In other matters, I am setting up a multiplayer, how should I call it? Let's call it, I'm setting up a multiplayer game. So it's not a server. It will be hosted on my gaming computer. And that will, we're still currently in setup. So fields need ploughed and cultivated and seeded and stuff like that. Well, the grass fields need to be seeded. Equipment needs to be bought, paid for, bought back from the store to the farm, that type of thing. And I will probably stream it one weeknight a week. Next week I will be running it for probably 2 hours each on Monday, Thursday and Friday, just to see if we can get the setup completed. Basic idea is let's have people make sure they've got all the mods loaded and everything else that needs to be done. So the server's going to be active even if nobody's on it. And I did that Thursday, Friday this week. I had Kevin join me on Thursday night, so we got some stuff moved. He spent a lot of the time getting his mods updated. The thing is, he said, he hasn't played Farm Sim for a few months, so he hasn't been keeping his mods up to date, so that needed to be done. That's it. So he did spend a lot of time updating all of his mods. And there's a couple of mods I use that aren't on Mod Hub. So, that's annoying. I came at that from the wrong side. So let's put that down there. Around the other side. Lift the forks. And I must remember to put a post on Arthur's Facebook channel so that people there know. So he did put it on Discord, but unfortunately I'm not sure how many people are still on that Discord, although we will be using it during game time. Anyway. And I won't be streaming that until it's all set up. Wow, we've got 65 litres left in that tank, really. I'm going to drop this opposite might use this silage bunker to store either potatoes or sugar beets, not sure yet. Because we're going to need a couple of places to store root crops, and unfortunately we've only got one big root crop storage area. Okay, what do I want to do with this? I want to put it down, so we'll magically put it down and back off. Okay, we are done, I think, with the Fent. That's what that was. Okay. Sheep need sugar beets and carrots. I'm guessing I can use the Fent for that too. Yeah, let's deal with the sheep. It's 5 o'clock. I thought I took that belt off, or did I turn another one on? I'll move the hose as well. I may leave it attached to that IBC just because it's a refillable. And then what I'll probably do is unload the sprayer. Do I not have... I don't have any short filled sugar beets, so that's probably why that one field of sheep is short on sugar beets, is because I didn't fill it up completely. Lift that so it clears the gate. I'm kind of a little bit worried that the pallet may jump off the forks because it's not completely sitting right. And one of the ways I have found to ensure that the pallets come off is, if a pallet gets stuck, raising the forks to full height and tipping them back can, for some reason, make the pallet shift forwards. So if it's not held completely on the forks, then it drops off, which is kind of a good thing. Okay, that's just over half a pallet. Let's grab the broom while we're here. Let's grab the broom while we're here and wave it in a Harry Potter fashion and watch all the grass disappear. Hey, oops. And then let's throw it over there. That's how brooms work. Alright, jump back in here. I think I'm probably done with... Hold on. Oh, I'm done with Oakfield farm sheep. That's done, that's done. Those are all over halfway. We just cleaned them. They have the water. So those sheep are done sufficiently to last overnight. It's 5 o'clock, so they should be good for the night. Oh! Bouncy, bouncy. We'll close that gate and run down the lane to the other field. One of the things I am still planning on this, is to get ourselves a telehandler. And we'll probably do this sort of work with a telehandler rather than with the Fent. The Fent I'll still use for shopping trips because it's fast. It's one of our fast tractors. But it will be used much less for this sort of work. And similarly with the Lindner. I may end up using that less if we get a telehandler. Wow, 44 litres. Well, grab the broom. Grab the broom. But that might make the need for the Lindner non-existent. At which point I could swap the Lindner out and get a very small field tractor. Or maybe go for a mid. I mean, the Lindner's got good horsepower. It's just not really. It's not ideal as a farm, as a fieldwork tractor. It's good for farmyards, especially like ours, where it can be difficult to manoeuvre around. But then so's a telehandler. And the telehandler's a little bit more stable. Whoops, not doing that, doing that. When carrying heavy weights on the front. So, yeah, it would be more realistic to carry bales on a telehandler, multiple bales on a telehandler, than it is to carry multiple bales on the Lindner. But we've had the Lindner for a very long time now. That said, we've had the Challenger and the Class 940 Axion for just as long. Well, actually longer, because the Class Axion was notionally a tractor we bought from Norfolds when we moved from Farm Sim 17. And drop. And back up. And turn the forks back on. And see if we can fit through the door without taking off the frame. So it looks like the major featured brand in Farm Sim 22 is going to be Massey Ferguson again. Which means we might get to see Massey Ferguson. What do they do? I don't know if they'll give us any grain carts. Although Massey Ferguson branded grain carts are a thing, but we may get to see things like tedders and windrowers and balers, oh my. And stuff like that. We may get some more options of harvesters. I mean, I remember in 17 there were 2 base game Massey Ferguson harvesters, and